Okay, so on another reform by the Act, it, the Act sees the institution of the Customary Lands Secretariat. Okay, so I think even with that and prior to the passing of that, we actually had the Asante Land Secretariat and that of Reja. Okay, and these two land secretariats actually saw, saw effective land management and also effective, efficient land tenure around their respective jurisdiction. Now, I believe the creators of this act actually saw the need to incorporate this part and actually legalize it for effective land records keeping by these additional authorities. Now, I would like to know, do you really think the creation of these secretariats would actually do much? Would do much in terms of land records keeping and lessen the incidence of multiple sales of land?
What I learned is that in this Land Act, at first the chiefs used to exercise so much powers when it comes to these two lands because obviously the land was in their hands. But this new Land Act has explicitly stated that the chiefs hold the lands in trust for the subjects of the stew. So what this means is that the chiefs are not owners of the land. They are custodians of the land and they have no right to sell the lands. All what they did, so their position is more of a trust position, okay? They are holding the land in trust for the subjects. So, this whole thing has come up because, the chiefs used to, sell lands themselves, and all of this used to cause some disagreements among subjects. So the new Land Act has, put in place even measures to even punish chiefs who go ahead to sell land on their own. Okay, so it's kind of, and as the head of the the customary land, when it comes to the customary lands, as the head, if the law is saying that this is your position, then impliedly it also imposes such obligations on the Customary Land Secretariats. So these Customary Land Secretariats will not have any right to sell or do any transactions on lands on their own because the lands do not belong to the chiefs. But all their activities will be just geared towards effectively managing the lands for the benefit of the members of the customary areas. Yeah, so that's how best I understand that.
Okay, but can I ask a question? Sorry. So
yeah, you can ask a question.
So before, I don't really know the procedure when it comes to that side, but before they record whatever interest you have in that land, is there a transaction between the chief and the one who is interested in buying first before that transaction goes to they tell the Customary Land Secretariat about that transaction? How does it work?
I for one like to use this word that the Customary Land Secretariat is more or less like a mini lands commission. At the various traditional authorities. It's a mini lands commission. So there are two actually. So once a traditional authority, so a chief actually sells transfer an interest in the land to an individual. That transaction is supposed to be recorded in their records, okay, for safekeeping and everything. Then in furtherance to that, these records could actually, they will actually take these records from their end to Lands Commission to reconcile with the records also from at Lands Commission. Okay, so they are supposed to actually do their bits over there to ensure that there isn't any multiple sales of land. The extent of one's land doesn't eat into the other, and also to ensure sanity in the acquisition of land within their jurisdiction. So I like to use the word a mini lands commission, though they don't really do everything that the lands commission does, but for the aspect of records keeping and effective land management, they are supposed to do that to ensure sanity within their area.
Yeah, can I?
Okay, so I hope you get it. Yes.
So
yes, you can come.
Yeah, sorry. So two things to chip in. So basically, the Customary Land Secretariat, I hope that's the name, they are there for administrative purposes. They are the administrative powerhouse for chiefs so that they're able to keep sanity. All right, so administration is their whole game. But then my question is, haven't these secretariats been there like for a long while now? Because I know when I did my internship in Lands Commission, like PVLMD at 37 Accra, I remember seeing like a customary something on one of the buildings. Unless
that you actually saw the office of the administrator of two lands.
Oh,
there's a difference.
Okay, there have been land secretariats. I know Asantehene Customary Land Secretariat has been there.
Yes. So far, I
think Asantehene was the most proactive land secretariat, okay, and then we have some of these tools in Accra, having land secretariat. You see, secretariat. I don't know. I'm not quite sure about this, and I stand to be corrected. But I think those secretariats were initiatives of the chiefs themselves.
Oh,
yes,
very
true.
But
based on that is, I think based on that is what the creators of the acta have seen to be helpful within their area, and that's they try to actually legalize it in this act.
This land secretariat has been very useful to Asante land. You know, in all of these challenges we find in Accra, Asantehene, because they have a very active customary land secretariat that ensures that you don't sell land to this person and go and sell to another person. They are keeping very accurate records of everything. So I think because of the success of these kind of secretariats, I think that is why the Lands Act is bringing it to make it something legal, so that the other schools can learn from it and bring some sanity to the land administration of their customary areas.
Oh, please, can I ask?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay, so there's a difference between OASL and the Customary Land Secretariat.
Oh yeah, there's a vast difference between them.
I think that to a large extent the OASL will work with Customary Land Secretariat, but OASL, Office of Administrator of Land, that one is like administering all the stool lands in the country.
Oh, so it's a higher body. Okay.
Yeah.
That means they fall under OASL kind of. They will report to them, I'm sure.
Yes. Like that.
So regarding, she's talking, I said, let's talking now, Makafuyo. All right, so concerning the reconciliation of the land records, the law actually provides that the various customary land secretariats are supposed to actually submit their records at the end of every 3 months to the Lands Commissioner and also to the Office of the Administrator of Two Lands. So before the OASL comes in here, so I think these institutions are supposed to work hand in hand to ensure efficient and effective land management and also security of tenure and land tenure. Also, we would also actually talk about the land or vested lands. Okay, this is actually the last reform we'll be having a discussion on for today. Okay, so with vested lands. Okay, so the law provides that the president with advice and also president with advice from the Lands Commission should actually should actually consider the various vested lands we have in the country and see how best they can do to divest these vested lands to the various landholding communities. Those they found, they actually find okay to actually divest back. They would divest, but those they see they need to hold on to these various lands, they will hold on to. So okay, so
like that all that's why.
Okay, so a pertinent a very pertinent reason, right? A pertinent reason why these lands were vested back in the day was that um, there were conflicts among the various landholding communities, right? So this land, say, authority say A, land authority say A, and also land authority B. They would actually be battling over a particular piece of land, okay? And so the government actually goes in there and claims the land. Okay, but the government vests the land in itself in trust of the landholding community. So the management bit of it rests in the government. The landholding community actually enjoys the fruit of the land. So we say the legal interest rests in the government and the equitable interest rests in the landholding community. So an aspect of management, transfer and all that, the government does it in the name of lands commission. But the aspect of rent, enjoyment and all that, the landholding community enjoys it. Okay, so that being said, do you really think with our current situation in Ghana here, and also with the various landholding communities we have, do you really think that having to divest these vested lands back to these landholding communities actually is in light with the concerns of these various communities? Because currently the distribution of this having to enjoy this rent and all that, it seems that it's a big of a problem. Okay, it's a big of a problem having to enjoy the rent accrued on these lands managed by the government in terms of these various landholding communities. It's a bit of a problem of the government's side having to collate the rent accrued over a particular term. So do you really think, in light of this, and also in light of the concerns of the various holding communities, that the divesting of this land, actually is in consonance with their concerns? I know I've talked plenty, so take the key words out. So this goes to Ntifafa. Ntifafa.
We can't hear you.
All right, I'm here. Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, so there's a good reason why these lands are vested, and I know that the vesting has been a long time coming, because I remember when I was younger, like way back in 2008, President Atamios of blessed memory has been talking about this, where I think he has been hitting on that point where lands will be given back to the community and all that. So then it shows that there's some form of merit to it. It's only wise to leave, like you said, the legal interest and the equitable interest in the hands of the community. But then yet again, you ask yourself, why are these lands vested? They're vested for various reasons, from conflict resolution to for public projects and all that. So as to the motivation behind the divesting of these lands, I must do a little research to see if it's been a political move where people are trying to favor in the eyes of communities, or there's actual merit to it where they see that, okay, so for instance, stated conflicts, because of conflicts, they actually took over the government has taken over the land as a form of conflict resolution. So then are these community members ready to?
When it comes to this issue, okay, when we say vested lands, we have to be clear on what we mean by vested lands. So I chanced on one article, and then you see the vested lands in this case doesn't refer to lands that have been acquired for the use for maybe public purpose or public interest. Okay, so all those lands that have been acquired for infrastructure development are not under a vested land. So typically when you say vested land, lands in Ghana, they are those lands that were, they had to be taken from the people to be managed by the lands commission so that they'll be able to resolve some disputes. Okay, so typically there were some boundary disputes over some of the lands, and then they had to, like Dennis said, they had to send the legal rights that has to do with management of the lands to the lands commission or the government, while the equitable right, that's the beneficial rights, were given to the people of the land. But what is happening is that over a very long time, those lands were vested like in the very early days of post-colonialism. Most of these lands were acquired during those times, and they have still not settled. They were taken by the state so that they'll settle the disputes over a very short period. They took it on a temporary grounds. They were not supposed to take it permanently, but it looks like over a very long time they have slept over the issues and they are not resolving the conflicts. Okay, so what they are trying to do is that they give themselves a deadline that's like 6 months after the passing of the new Land Act. All vested lands should go back to their original owners. And the main motivation behind this is to ensure that they're able to reach faster decisions, because they've seen that if they're not able to faster decisions concerning these lands, then the people are going to remain just beneficial owners. And if Lands Commission is managing your land, it's not managing it for free. They are going to take proceeds from those lands that they are managing. So it is just a means to get the people's lands back to them, because some of these issues, even the parties involved, have long died. And people have even forgotten what the issue. So why are you investing the land in the first place? So the whole rationale is to just give the people back their lands, give them back their land. That's all this whole thing is about.
Then, if that's the case, then hopefully it should catalyze the resolution of conflicts. But then just that we have interesting times ahead. How conflicts will resolve.
But you know something? I'm even currently facing these issues, right? Since I'm in charge of the acquisitions and of lands and all that. So the majority of lands in Sudan here are vested lands. Okay, the majority of the lands are vested land. I think owing to the fact that back in the days there were conflicts and some landholding communities were found to be very troublesome and all that. So governments actually entered in there to vest the lands in themselves and in itself, and the landholding community is supposed to enjoy the proceeds from the land. But as it stands now, the lands are still vested in the government. And I think I went there to inquire about the land with the chief and all that. And the chief was, I think he was very firm in his ground that the lands are not vested. The lands are his and not vested and all that. In fact, he was very firm in his word. Stands firm, giddy giddy. So I educated him that this is what the law says. And as it stands now, per the nature of the land that we are dealing with, the land is a vested land. But he kept on with his words that he would send the government to court and all that. But in fact, I was not even thinking about that. Mine was the current state of the land and what I am buying. Okay, and what I am buying. So I think and from him and from the chief, he says yes, of course he agreed to the fact that they had issues on the land. But these issues on the land, I think they are, in fact, the issues have been resolved long ago. So he doesn't even see the need why government is still holding on to that land and saying it's a vested land and all that. So I think the aspect of the vesting also should also come in there. Should also come in there. So all too soon, we've come to the end of the discussion. I think it was a very healthy discussion and quite educative and informative. In fact, I see that not all are actually into this land management practices and all that and discipline. So it's a bit of a hurdle, but we we obviously jumped over the hurdle. So I thank you all for this discussion and for the success of this discussion, and I'll meet you guys same time next week to delve more into various issues pertinent in our communities and also the nation at large. I thank you all, and I call it a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.